Okay, I have a picture for you. What is this? A bee? Well, let's see. Let's look at his body. What do you see about the wings and the colors? What do you notice? Black and yellow. Is it really big or small? Small. Well, did you know that people who have studied bees, that the bee's body is actually too big for its wings, and that it shouldn't even be able to fly, but it does. See how the bee's body is so big, but the wings are just small. And bees are actually a symbol of Christianity because it can do something amazing even though it's not even able to do that. And today we're serving communion, and that's amazing too, because it reminds us that Jesus died and rose from the grave, and that's a miracle, just like the bee being able to fly is a miracle. And today I'm going to let you eat the sweet bread to help remind you of God's goodness, because God is so good that you can show your love to others when you eat God's sweet bread and remember to show sweetness to others. So will you pray with me? God, thank you for your love. Thank you for being so good to us. Help us to show your goodness to others. Amen.
Just before the Passover feast, Jesus knew that the time had come for him to leave this world and go to the Father. Having loved his dear companions, he continued to love them right to the end. It was supper time. The devil by now had Judas, son of Simon, firmly in his grip, all set for the betrayal. Jesus knew the Father had put him in complete charge of everything, that he had come from God and was on his way back to God. So he got up from the supper table, set aside his robe, and put on an apron. Then he poured water into a basin and began to wash the feet of the disciples, drying them with his apron. When he got to Simon Peter, Peter said, Jesus answered,
You may not understand what I'm doing now, but it will become clear to you later.
Peter said,
You will never wash my feet, ever.
Jesus said,
If I don't wash you, you can't be part of what I'm doing.
Master,
said Peter.
not just my feet, wash my hands, wash my head.
Jesus said,
If you've had a bath in the morning, you only need your feet washed now, and you're clean from head to toe. My concern, you understand, is holiness, not cleanliness. So now you're clean, but not every one of you.
He knew who was betraying him. That's why he said, not every one of you. After he was finished washing their feet, he took his robe, put it back on, and went back to his place at the table. Then he said,
Do you understand what I have done to you? You address me as master and teacher, and rightly so, for that is what I am. So if I, the master and teacher, washed your feet, you must now wash others' feet. I've laid down a pattern for you. What I do, you do. I'm only pointing out the obvious. A servant is not ranked below a master. An employee does not give orders to the employer. If you understand what I'm telling you, act like it and live a blessed life.
Good morning. As most of you know, last year I competed in the state literary competition in extemporaneous speaking. As most of you probably don't know, in extemporaneous speaking, you're given 3 wide-ranging topics to choose from and 30 minutes to come up with a speech, often about a topic that you know little about. However, I decided that writing this sermon has been a lot harder. I've had a week to prepare, and the topic is something I know a lot about because many of you have taught me in Bible school, Sunday school, and on Wednesday nights. But I've struggled to find the right words for today. I guess since I've grown up in this church, I really want to deliver the best message that I possibly can. Also, I had the flu, so I think God was trying to see just how much I wanted to preach today. Most of you have known me my whole life, have watched me grow up, have kept me in the nursery, probably shook your head at me when I was a younger, rowdier kid, and wondered how I managed to make it with 3 sisters at home. Some of you probably questioned if my parents even wanted me, because growing up in a big family, I've been left everywhere, including in the parking lot on Sunday as my family just drove off without me. But I want you to know that all of you have had a major impact on my life, and I couldn't have asked for a better church to grow up in. St. Francis once said, "Preach the gospel always. Use words only if necessary." In Sunday school and on Wednesday nights, Jason and Lee constantly tell us the same message. In other words, when it comes to your faith, don't just talk the talk, walk the walk. In the New Testament, Jesus gives us many commands. Give to the needy. Don't judge. Feed the hungry. Care for the sick. Love your neighbor as yourself. Many of us hear these words so often we don't even give them a second thought. In Matthew 21:7, Jesus says, "Not everyone who says to me, 'Lord, Lord,' will enter the kingdom of heaven, but only he who does the will of my Father who is in heaven." Many times it seems we get caught up going through the motions of being a Christian. We go to church Sunday, maybe go Wednesday night, and then go about our lives. But God cares more about what we do Monday through Saturday. In youth, we try to live our faith. We have gone on mission trips, marched Mission Madness, worked at the food bank, and sent care packages to less fortunate people at Christmas. Our youth leaders do a great job of making sure we know how to show our faith. In his book, The Last Lecture, Randy Powell tells the story of his first football practice when he was 9 years old. All the players were scared of the coach, a former linebacker at Penn State. As the kids sat there scared speechless, they noticed the new coach hadn't brought along any footballs. Finally, one kid got up the courage to tell the coach there were no footballs. The coach responded, "We don't need any." All the players sat there in silence for a moment, totally confused. The coach continued, "How many men are on a football field at a time?" The kids answered that there were 11 on the team, making 22 total. "And how many people are touching the football at any given time?" asked the coach. "One," answered the kids. "Right," said the coach. "So we're going to work on what those other 21 guys are doing." Powell stroked that the coach is focusing on the fundamentals first. "You've got to get the fundamentals down," he said, "because otherwise the fancy stuff is not going to work." The same thing is true in our faith. We've got to get the fundamentals down. We've got to be able to do as Jesus said, or others are not going to believe us when we test about our faith to them. Jesus showed us just how to master the fundamentals. He not only told us what to do, he did them himself. He gave to the needy. He accepted everybody. He fed the hungry. He cared for the sick. He loved us enough to give up his life on earth. In the poem, Sermons We See by Edgar Guest, one stanza reads, "And the best of all the preachers are the men who live their creeds. For to see good put in action is what everybody needs." Jesus showed us how to live our faith by living his creed. He taught us the fundamentals. This church has helped me practice these fundamentals, so I'll be prepared to do the fancy stuff later in life. This church has taught me how to live my faith.